Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about allocation accounts. This is a new feature in Business Central 23. It is something along the lines of standard journals, if you have used these, where you can sort of split a line of something up into multiple different accounts. The big difference is that this is available on journals and it is available on purchase invoices. So I'm going to take you first through some setups. I have already done the setups, but I will explain what they all mean and how they work. And then we will have a look at an invoice and we will have a look at a journal. So starting point, we will go to allocation accounts. Here we go. And I'm going to start with a simple one over here, rental allocation. So let me edit it. You will see that we have a header. The header consists of a number, which could be a code, a number, a reference of some sort, a fuller description over there, and a type. So this one I have defined as fixed. You can also set it up as variable, and we'll come to a variable example in a moment. I then go and specify which accounts I want to be affected. So what is going to happen is when I tell my invoice or my journal that I want to do a rental allocation, it is going to split it up into these 4 lines. You will see over here that it has split it equally. Now that's very unlikely that you want to split something equally. It is based not on the percentage, so I cannot actually edit the percentage here. It is based on this thing called the share, and that works like a ratio. So it's not a percentage, it is a ratio. So for example, if I said that I wanted 2 there, it's going to make that 40% of the total, because what it does is it adds these together. It says there are 5 portions, and of those 5 portions, I'm allocating 2 to the first one and 1 each to the others. So they each get 20. If I was to make this one, say, 3, now I'm going to have a share of 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. We're going to have 7 shares. So if I do that, you'll see that my percentages change. They should still more or less round up to 100, but it takes the total of 7 shares, and of the 7 shares, 3 go there, 1 goes there, 2 goes there. Straightforward, a little bit different from using percentages. If, of course, you wanted to use percentages, I could have done this. I could have said 40 goes there and 20 goes to each of those. 10 goes there. Let's make, let's leave that one as 10. Let's make this one 30. So what that means is I have 100 shares, and therefore my percentages will kind of mirror that. I go and have a look at a different one. Let's have a look at the advertising allocation account. This account, you'll see that I have allocated it to the same account. So I have got 3 lines all going to the same account. I'm using 1111, which means I've got 3 shares, and I have got 33% approximately going to each one. Why have I got the same account 3 times? Well, that's because I am going to allocate it to different dimensions. Little bit of a not such a nice setup, but this is the way it is. So I go in line by line. I'm going to allocate the first line to admin department. The second line is going to the sales department, and the third line is going to the production department. So far, so good. So those are 2 options. One is I'm going to take an amount captured on an invoice or on a journal, and I'm going to split it into different accounts. Second one, I'm taking an amount on my document, and I'm going to split it to the same account, but to different dimensions. And the third one that I'm going to show you is a variable allocation. So the difference between these, I am taking 3 different accounts. So these are all payroll accounts. I'm going to put in one amount, and then I am going to split it, but I'm going to split it at entry time. I'm not going to use the system to calculate how much goes to each one. One thing that we have here, there's an option here called preview distribution. If I click on that, I can put an amount up there. So let's say I have an expense of 200,000. Based on my setup, it will now tell me which account and which dimension is going to receive which share of the cost. So far, so good. So those are the setups. Let's see how they are used in practice. Moving on, I'm going to go to a purchase invoice. And I have already created one. Here it is. So let's just select a vendor. The rest we don't need. We will, of course, need an invoice number. And now, instead of selecting an item or a GL account or a charge item, which we would be used to using, I am going to use the one at the bottom here, this new option called Allocation Accounts. And I am going to use for this my office expense reallocation. So this is going to effectively take my landlord's bill, where he's given me one line of costs, and I'm going to split that when I post it into multiple lines. So the way we work with that, let's say the quantity is 1, the unit cost is 1,000. That's my line. What am I going to do with it? Let's have a look at what happens when we preview it. So let's go to preview posting. Will take a second or two, and there is my posted document. If I drill into my GL entries, I should find that I don't just have a single line, I've got a multiple lines. So I've got at the bottom here that I expect is my vendor control account, and then there's my 8140, there is my 8130, my 8120. In between I've got VAT accounts, I have got a discount amount, here I've got another discount amount. So it has taken my one line on the invoice that I have captured, and it has split it and allocated the costs to the individual accounts flowing out of my allocation accounts. Straightforward. This is just the preview, of course. Let's go and post it for real. Post it. We'll just do a post. Yes, I want to post it. Yes, I want to look at it. And guess what it's done here? It has taken my single line, and on my posted invoice, it has now split it up. So I have 4 lines appearing on my posted invoice. And it has taken it and split it according to the amount. There are my final values. So there we go. That's an invoice. Let's try a journal now. So I'm going to go to General Journals. Here, select that one. Here is my journal. So again, I'm going to say I want to use an allocation account. And I am this time going to use the first one. This is my advertising. And again, I need to put in an amount. Let's say it's 20,000. So remember that this one was set up to go to the same account, 3 lines going to one account, each one with a different department dimension. So again, let's have a look and see what it has done if we do a preview posting. GL entries, and surprise, surprise, I have got 6 accounts, got 6 transactions, I should say. There we see the 2 for admin, going to 8410, that's my contra account, then going to sales, and then going to production. So that looks perfect. I'm very happy with that. Let's post it for real. Post. Yes. And lastly, let's try the last one, which was the payroll. So this one, remember, is a variable allocation. And what I'm going to do, let's say our payroll comes to 200,000. I have my bank account or my contra account. And we now have this option on the menu called redistribute account allocations. Now, just a word here, I have promoted this. I've moved it onto this menu so that I have easy access to it. It is hidden in the menus of the page. You may have to go and look for it. If I click on that, I get presented with a little grid. It has given me a suggestion of how this ought to be split. And I will now go and I will change it. So I want 20,000 to go there. And what's 20,000 from that? I want 90,000 there, and the balance will go there. So this, as I said, is kind of like the old standard journal. We can use a standard journal for a similar process, but what I like about this is it's one setup and it can be used, as I say, both on a purchase invoice or any purchase document, in fact, or it can be used on a journal. And yeah, I kind of like it. There are a couple of things that I don't like. The first is on the setup that I have to go into a separate page to capture the dimensions. I don't have my global dimensions set up here, so I have to go into a separate page to enter my dimensions. And the other thing which I have not figured out, and I don't think I'm missing anything yet, with the variable transactions, there is a process that you can set up on the setup of the allocation account. You can specify that you want it to, for example, redistribute the balance of another account. But I cannot find a place to generate that journal. So I will keep looking. If I find it, I'll give you an update. But in the meantime, here is something that I think is useful. Try it out. Let me know what you feel in the comments below. Cheers.